Well, when I first heard about network marketing, I was 22. I was living in Livingston, California, right outside the front gate of Foster Farms, which is the largest single poultry processing plant in the world. That would be a chicken factory. And that's where I worked. It's about 20 minutes from where I grew up. And I had 4 years invested in that career and had another 36 years to go. And I actually was looking forward to it. I was deeply ingrained in the chicken career and chicken culture. And but, you know, some interesting events happened. A good friend of mine, actually the guy who got me the job at the chicken plant, he'd resigned and gone on to do something else. And he came to me one day about this incredible opportunity where he and I were going to make a lot of money. But at the same time that that was happening, I was being blocked from advancing any further at the chicken plant because I didn't have a college degree. So if I wanted to advance further in management at the chicken plant, I actually had to go off of day shift, go on to swing shift. Instead of running a crew, which I was doing at that time of a couple of hundred people who I taught to cut chickens up all day long because I was so good at it, I was going to the night shift to run a sanitation crew of 6 people so that I could go back to college. That was my grand plan. And I knew in my heart that wasn't going to work because I wasn't going to do 2 hours of college, let alone 2 or 3 years at night. So that's why I was open. And, you know, what we say to people is, your job is to just go make the offer, just the invite, because you never know who's going to be open. If somebody would have asked me a month earlier about network marketing, before the chicken plant had said, hey, you can't go any further unless you get a college degree, I wouldn't have been open because my whole career was mapped out at the chicken plant. Then one day, the boss of the chicken plant in one of my peer review, whatever kind of reviews, you know, said, hey, if you want to go any further, you got to have a college degree. That's the policy here. So boom, all of a sudden, I was open. And Steve, my good friend, a week or two later, dangled the opportunity in front of me, and I was open because I couldn't go any further at the chicken plant. So, you know, I was interested. Now, I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't really open. I was just interested. Interested enough to go to about 3 weeks worth of meetings before I got in. That particular company was very aggressive, and they had opportunity meetings every night of the week and a training every weekend. And I went to every meeting for 3 weeks before I got in because I just didn't get it. I didn't get how you could make a lot of money, and the emphasis wasn't going to be on selling the product. The emphasis was going to be on a whole lot of people selling a little bit of product. And I was raised, like most people, in what I call the direct selling paradigm, which is if there's a product to sell or a service to sell and there's money to be made, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to sell a lot of that product. So I looked at the product that this company was selling, and I looked at how much money they were offering, and it didn't compute to me. I said, I can't sell that much product. I don't know that many people. I don't even want to sell that product. But I do want to make a lot of money. It took me 3 weeks to actually get the whole geometric progressions. Everybody's selling the product. It's not a few people selling a lot. It's a lot of people selling just a little bit each. And the idea is to get that group of people, the pyramid, if you will, under you and benefit from a lot of people's efforts. So 3 weeks later, I finally got it, and I jumped in, and it took me 2.5 years to make it, 2.5 years of learning and struggling, but really that's not very much time to learn an entirely new career. But 2.5 years later, I was making $10,000 a month, and 3 years after that, I was making $40,000 a month. By the age of 28, I had over 30,000 active people working for me, and that was in 1980. So, you know, it was a good career move. And sometimes people say, you know, you've gone really far in your life without a college education. Where do you think you'd be if you had one? I can tell you exactly where I'd be. at the chicken plant, retiring in about 2 years. I got into the corporate side of network marketing because the company that I built an organization in, they ran into some management problems, and they actually asked me to come from the field into the home office and help them run the company, which I did for 2 years. I transitioned from a field leader in that company into being the vice president of the company and running it. So I got great experience in product development and legal and operations and human resources and information technology, which, at the time computers were the size of refrigerators, and it was a great experience. And after a couple of years of sort of getting that company in the kind of shape that it needed to be in, the president and owner of the company and I decided that time for me to move on, because he really wanted to run the company and I really wanted to run it. So it was his company, so I let him run it. And I started looking for what's next for me. I had a great residual income from my organization, but I wanted to do something different in network marketing. And I was thinking about starting a company. And just through networking and, relationships and people, I got a phone call from some people that were involved in OxyFresh. And long story short, I ended up running OxyFresh. Well, in addition to owning OxyFresh and LifeShots, I also own a generic training and coaching and consulting and publishing business in the network marketing industry called Bliss Business. And that's not so much a business as it is a hobby or a passion. It's not enough for me to lead my companies in network marketing. I have a bigger vision for the industry and the profession as a whole. This is a grand business model that really deserves extraordinary success in a very respectful and honorable way. And the history of network marketing has been, sort of a good and bad and a love-hate relationship. There's a lot of companies that have abused the fact that people can make a lot of money in this industry, and there's some companies that have honored it. And so I'm a champion for those companies and those distributors that want to honor the respectability and the extraordinary attributes that this profession offers. So anytime I find a company that I think honors the way network marketing can be done and does it in an ethical and a respectable way, I want to reach out and help those distributors and help those companies. So I do that through training and sometimes consulting and speaking and things that I might write. And I don't do that so much for money as I do it for, when I leave this profession, I just don't want to leave a couple of great companies that I built. I want to leave this profession better off than I found it. And I found it as an extraordinary income opportunity that, for the most part, did not have a great reputation. So if you're talking to somebody and they said, oh, is this like multi-level marketing, or is this like network marketing, or, they have lots of different ways to describe it, but you know what they mean. And their response is, in phrasing the question, they say, well, is this like, and they have a frown on their face. And so the way that I articulate my vision is that when I leave this profession, what I want most people to do when they figure out you and I are talking about network marketing is I want them to say, oh, you mean like network marketing? Or you mean, and they've got a bright look on their face because they understand the business model. They understand through companies that they've experienced and distributors that they've experienced how it can be done honestly and authentically and directly without games and scams and hiding things and bait and switch, or it's all about how much money we can make and using and abusing people, but it's more about actually enhancing people's lives and telling the truth about what we do. So when you ask me what I do, I tell you I'm a network marketer. I don't have some creative story about what I do. I'm a network marketer. I'm proud of it, and that's how I want to leave this profession, so that most people see network marketing as an honorable profession, and they realize that this is actually the best, fastest way for most of us to get financially free, and the public understands how it works and they respect how it works. And that's just not from what we say about it, that's from what we do about it. So Bliss Business is my business for leading the charge on what we do about it, to leave this profession in an honorable, respectful place.